Hey everybody, welcome back to Pillars of Eternity. Last time we were sneaking through here, trying to see if we can get to one of the suspicious individuals running the little sanitarium under this area. He did not seem to be on the full up and up, at the very least. And even had a door locked on us. So we're gonna figure out about that soon enough. Something churns and bubbles in this tank. It seems he has been doing testing on the subjects rather than trying to cure them.
A simple test.
So let's see what we can find here. The copper wires and conduits are shiny. The device is warm to the touch. A round-faced, balding man turns to face you. His upper lip is pulled upward slightly by his pointed nose, exposing his upper teeth when he scowls.
What is the meaning of this?
Oh, yep, this is him. Ethel Muir told me you're not supposed to be doing any more experiments. Yes, well, Ethel Muir hasn't done much good for anybody since he had his soul moved to an inanimate object, so I fail to see why I should let that sway me. If animancers all followed the commands of their leaders, where would we be? We'd all be as backward and willfully ignorant as Red Ceres. We would know nothing about life or death, or even ourselves. We would be lost in the dark with no clue as to why. I never thought I'd find myself in agreement with a statue, but Ethelmuir's right about this fellow at least. He sneers at Azo. How easily ambition masquerades as prudence. I'll bet he's fooled even himself. You toy with things beyond your comprehension. It's dangerous and foolish.
Are you from Red Ceres? Are you Widewen himself, risen to smite me for my heretical belief in learning who I am and why I exist? Please. You are afraid because men have taught you to be afraid. Because they were taught to be afraid. These things are only beyond our comprehension because of the fears of people like you. Who will solve Widewen's legacy? Some church? Some warrior? It will be an animancer, or it will be no one at all.
Have you tried your experiments on any other subjects? Yes. No point in lying about it now that Ethelmuir's involved. I asked for volunteers from our patients, and a few brave souls came forward. I was very close at one time to a breakthrough. They understood that. They understood their sacrifice would mean something. I heard you were demoted. How did it happen? Azo's nostrils flare, and he bares his upper teeth more broadly. That's none of your concern. Did one of the others put you up to this? Oddmer? That smug weasel. Things went wrong, everything. I don't know how. I'll never know. He spits on the floor as if to remove a bitter taste from his mouth. I need to know if you've seen any unusual behavior out of your patients. You're going to get a lot of looks asking questions like that in a sanitarium for the unbalanced. In truth, I have spent little time treating them since I have been reduced in my capacities. You might have luck with some of our more functional patients. They tend to congregate in the main area just past the entrance to the patient wards. I'm looking for an expert on awakenings. I don't have time to give you directions. Go bother someone else. Farewell. Alright, so I guess we're going to talk to the patients in the main room. Now that we've kind of got the answers we were looking for here. You have a name, so you're probably important. A curved spine twists this woman's posture forward, her greasy hair draped over her large eyes like vines. She smiles at you. You must be visiting someone. Then, noting your appearance, she adds, a friendly visit, I hope.
What do you know about this Animancer Azor?
Oh, I like him very much. Many animancers could care less about their patients, look at us like vermin for their experiments, but Master Azo treats us like humans, even the very sick. You can tell he does this to help people. He's helped me understand a great deal about myself, and I know he's done the same for others. It's too bad what they did to him. He hides it well, but I know he's still affected by it.
What happened to Azo?
Frail's eyes dart back and forth, and her voice lowers to just above a whisper. They don't like to talk about it, but there was an accident. He was said to be one of the brightest in Deerwood. That was his reputation here, and that was what brought me to seek treatment. People say it was ego that drove him to try and solve the legacy, but that's hogwash. Even if he was a bit of a showman, he loves his homeland. He thought he could help. He wasn't one to speak of his work, suspected his colleagues might have tried to steal it, but he told me once that he had figured out a way to create a soul. Not a soul exactly, mind you. How did he put it? A proxy, I think he called it. Had some machine that drew energy out of the very ether. Can you imagine? The point is, it was going to help with the legacy. It was going to make Hollowborn into something easier to love and care for. Gods know that's something we need. Do you know what they call those empty little babies in Andra's gift?
No, tell me.
They call them buoys, because so many of them are found floating face down in the water. These are mad times. Anyway, Master Azo had scheduled a public demonstration of his work in Copper Lane. He was so excited. And the next day he was locked in his office, turning away visitors, I heard, and he stopped seeing patients. I don't know exactly what happened, and I don't have the heart to ask him, but I'm glad they're letting him treat people again.
Have any of the patients here been acting unusually?
Well, there's Batista, who relives a murder she committed more than 5 lifetimes ago. Adelman, who they say only has half a soul, and who was found collecting the faces of others because he believed his own to be a false one. Graham, he speaks in a language no one understands and wails at night sometimes.
Different from their normal behavior, I mean.
Well, yes, I suppose, but nothing they didn't volunteer for. Master Azo lets us know that a number of patients in the North Ward had volunteered for a new therapy and would be escorted to his laboratory to receive treatment. The North Ward is our most troubled cases. I'm glad some of them have chosen to get help. It seems to me it's gotten quieter over there since it started. It's Graham I see them taking in the most. He struggles, but he always was a bit of a wild one.
Would I be able to visit the North Ward?
They like to keep them separate. I don't know that I've ever seen the guards allow a visitor. Just Master Azo. You might ask him, he's very sympathetic.
Why are you here?
Behind her hair, her cheeks flushed. I don't want to say, you'll think less of me.
You can tell me. I'm going crazy too.
You shouldn't tease. No one in here can help what they are. I know, I've tried. These last few years haven't been kind to me. They haven't been kind to anyone, really. I try not to think of it as personal. I lost my husband and both boys in the Saints' War. My daughter, the legacy took her before she was ever mine. I made do. What else can you do? I moved into a tiny place in Andra's gift, got by mending clothes and on the kindness of strangers when I had to. But I was surviving, and the gods were watching over me. I could live with that. Then one day, this noblewoman comes in, wants this fancy gown fixed. Gorgeous thing. This shade of blue I've never seen before. Only I had. I looked at it, and it reminded me of something. I had what they call an awakening. I remember being a noblewoman myself in another life. People doting over me, men doting over me. Me! The best food, the most beautiful home, all the things you'd ever dare to dream of. They were mine. It was poison knowing that. All those things I had that I'll never have in this life. It did something to me. My food started to taste rotten. The walls in my little room seemed so too close in around me. I stopped being able to sleep in my own bed. So I came here. It was that or break into an estate and start ordering servants around. It seems like such a silly thing to worry about. You don't have to tell me, but I can't get past it. And I start to wonder, did the gods choose this life for me? And if so, what terrible thing must I have done to deserve it?
Nobody deserves to go through what you've gone through.
I hope not. I can't even imagine the monster who deserves what half the patients go through every day.
Farewell.
Alright, so we need the key from Azo to get into the North Ward to talk to Graham. Okay. See what we can do there.
What is it now?
I'd like access to the North Ward.
Out of the question. Those patients are in isolation for a reason.
So you can coerce them into your experiments. Frail told me everything.
Oh, no, actually, we don't want to throw Frail under the bus like that.
I've been given permission to conduct my investigation down here. You'd best cooperate.
My answer is no. Whatever you're looking for, those patients will not be able to help you. The head warden will stand by me on this.
Right. Looks like we're about to cause a little trouble. Let me save before we do so.
I can do that.
Yes.
That's settled.
Alright. Well, I was hoping the key would be in there, and that's why he had that locked. Oh well. We're not going to steal what's in there. But we did get some XP. We're going to talk to the head itself, get his permission to just order him to give us a key. Because, yeah, we need to find out what's going on.
Hello.
Damn it. Okay. We're going to have to find another way in then. I don't know what they want us to do here. Maybe we could pickpocket him? Is that a thing in this? I haven't really tried pickpocketing in this game, so I don't know if that's technically a thing or not, but we might have to try and see if it is. Let's see here. Let's switch to our more roguish companion.
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep
Okay,
to ourselves.
so we are going to definitely try to sneak. We're going to see if pickpocketing is a thing here.
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves. And what does the flame reveal? Let's offload this junk.
We're gonna try to go a different way, it seems. Because it seems we are unable to get a key from him. So it seems we gotta find a different way in. What if we just said, fuck you, and tried to go in anyways? Actually, this one says we need the proper key. Yeah. That's right. Well, let's see what the journal says. Let's see what we got. There's gotta be a way.
What is it now?
So you can coerce them into your experiments. Frail told me everything.
She's a patient. That blazing woman knows nothing of the nature of my experiments.
He balls up his fist and digs his teeth into his index finger, a growl simmering beneath his breath, and a deep scowl compressing his face.
Fine. Speak to them for all the good it'll do you. I'm sure the discussions will be fascinating.
He pulls a heavy key from one of his pockets and nearly slams it down on the floor before handing it to you. Alright, cool. I guess we just had to do the other option. I was more concerned that Frail was gonna end up dead for that. But we'll see. He gave us the key this way, I guess. So, good enough. Close the door, because we're not animals. We don't live in a barn.
These poor people. This isn't the treatment that they were promised upstairs by the cushioned seats and lush carpets. Is that the cure for soul sickness? To be thrown into a cell and subjected to the whims of your captor?
These animancers are as mad as their patients.
But if we all were treated like this, the sanitarium would never survive. What did these patients do to warrant such conditions?
Here's the source of all the knowledge you were so giddy about.
Kana grimaces. It is one thing to be told as much, another to see it yourself. Let's be on our way. This place gnaws at the soul.
slow and silent.
The man has the look in his eyes of a hunted animal, and at your approach he staggers backward to the far corner of his cell, halfway appearing as though he would climb the walls if it would get him farther away from you. He cries out a bizarre primal utterance like nothing you have heard.
I need to ask you some questions.
Graham looks at you blankly. It is unclear whether he understands you or not, but his panic has momentarily subsided. He opens his mouth to speak, but the words that come out are half-formed as though his tongue were cut out. They are impossible for you to discern, if indeed they are words at all.
The mutilations of animancy, crueler than any tortured to disfigure the soul. Let us return the favor to the animancers of this shit heap. Frail said you were being treated by Cadmenazo.
He looks at you with uncertainty. Slowly, tentatively, he steps closer to the front of his cell, and as he does so for the first time, you can perceive his soul within your keen. It is misshapen, as though maimed by some jagged instrument, and large expanses of it have been gouged out entirely. You feel no barrier of resistance. If you wanted to, you could look further into Graham's soul. You project toward the maimed soul in front of you, merging with it, its confusion and fear becoming yours as it whisks you into its depths. You're in your cell. A key turns. The door creaks open on neglected hinges. Thoughts come to you in waves, incomplete, broken, fearful. Standing at the door is a rotund, balding man. His upper teeth and pointy nose remind you of a rat. He beckons, apologetic. You don't want to go anywhere else, or anything else. In your mind is a single word, and the word is no, but it dissolves before it reaches your lips. You press against the back wall, cornered. You cry out. In darkness, you fight against unseen restraints. You cannot move your arms or legs. The man walks into the room carrying a lit candle, its meager flame casting long shadows across books and machinery. Straps bind your arms and legs. Cold metal circumscribes the crown of your head and the breadth of your chest. The man is sorry. He is in need of raw materials. They dismantled his work, and he needs another source. He needs to show them he was right. He thanks you. Then he turns a knob, and you feel yourself begin to crack from within, and you can feel pieces of you torn away, like having your insides chewed by a horde of rats, and you are screaming a scream you can barely hear. Another night, heavy footsteps outside your door. Coming for you, you look through a slit in your door. The flesh giant, the artificial being just outside, but facing left. Facing the end of the hall, the boy there. The boy looks with interest at the giant, then collapses to the floor like a shed snakeskin. The giant convulses for a moment, then rights itself, turns away, and leaves. Graham looks at you, still wild-eyed, but somehow more present. He nods at you, then walks back to the end of his cell. Interesting. Oh, taxes collected. Lost some of it to bandits, but most of it was fine. Still waiting on the forum to finish being built. A willowy adolescent boy stands in the center of his cell. Gawkish and stoop-shouldered, he stares straight ahead. The occasional blink his only movement, and it is unclear whether he registers your presence at all behind his glassy, doll-like eyes. In this state, the barriers between your soul and his are thin and porous, easily bypassed if you should wish it. You close your eyes and edge forward toward the boy's soul, and as you near, a sudden malaise comes over you. You are cold and warm all at once, sweating and shivering and straining for breath, as you did on the caravan journey. The soul you approached is the wrong one, a parasitic plant that strangles its host. It is predatory and pitiless, and you have crossed paths with it before. Too late does it occur to you to retract, and already you feel yourself plunging into some interminable abyss of thought and misery and memory. You are standing in a cell now, the same cell in the sanitarium. The halls are moonlit and empty, and you are waiting. At the far end of the ward, the door opens, revealing a flesh golem in silhouette beneath the stone archway. It makes its usual rounds, the same stops every time, the misbegotten child of despondent creators. When the construct is close, you coil yourself up and spring forward, passing out of the boy's body as though it were a membrane. You can sense his body behind you collapsing to the floor, a puppet whose strings are cut. You are rushing toward the golem now, bodiless as a gust of wind. Quickly you think to yourself, quickly, and you feel the strength hemorrhaging from your soul as you dart towards the makeshift abomination. You pass into the golem's shell and overtake the soul implanted within, encircling it, suppressing it, and contained in this new vessel you are strong again. You step heavy-footed down corridors, unheeded by the other constructs, and scrutinized only by the wary, untrustworthy eyes of the mad, coming at last to an office piled with books and scribbled papers, and the perverse implements of animancy. You set your oversized hands upon a large machine, a nest of globes and tubes and coils in the center of the room, and go to work, bending wires and unsettling alignments. Your surroundings are pulled past you, or perhaps you are pulled past them, and they dissolve into a blur. When they settle into place again, you are outside on a clear day, standing in front of a crowd stacked high above you on the tiered seats of an amphitheater. You are acting for the crowd, standing deliberately still, but this is no play. A balding man with rodent-like features is strapping you to a machine, the one you had tampered with. You see your arms for the first time, short and fleshy, unmistakably those of a little girl, but this body is not truly yours. Your mind still holds the same determination, the same hard-heartedness as before. The body itself is cold and vacuous, unlike the others, and this one has no soul of its own. The man speaks, and the crowd applauds with an enthusiasm worthy of a hero's entrance. "Bear witness," he says, and he pulls a lever. The machine shivers and sparks, and a bead of sweat rolls down the side of the man's brow, but the crowd's apprehension quickly gives way to awe as a crystal globe fills with a radiant mist that casts the entire theater aglow. He opens a valve, and the glow crawls through a tube along a length of copper wiring that runs to a set of electrodes beneath your armpits. You feel nothing when it reaches you, as it should be, for you have been leading his work astray periodically for some time, altering notes and settings, and playing puppeteer for Harlowborn. But you make it look how people would expect it to look when a body is infused with a soul. In a moment the machine goes dark, and the man unstraps you, eyeing you with a scientist's concern. He looks back up at the crowd. "Behold," he says, but there is obvious hesitation in his voice. Slowly you take a plodding step forward, then another, and another. You look up at the man, giving him the eye contact of which no Hollowborn is capable, and the crowd gasps. The man looks relieved. "How do you feel?" he asks at a volume meant for the crowd. And this is the moment. At the top of your lungs you let out a piercing shriek. The man comes towards you, his hands outstretched, but you run the other way, back to the machine. With all of your strength, you drive your head into the crystal globe, and it shatters, striking your head with warm blood. You drive your head down onto the surface of the machine again and again, drawing panicked screams from the crowd, and by the time the man reaches you, your body has already ceased proper function and merely twitches on the cold ground. Satisfied, you depart the corpse in search of another unsuspecting host. Who could put their faith in animancy now? You are pulled again from your surroundings, transcending the boundaries of memory and lifetimes, deeper and deeper past betrayals and murders, and lies upon lies that form the thick webbing of plots beyond mortal comprehension. You settle at last on a room. you have seen before, expansive with a tall device encasing an Adra monolith at its center. The room is filled with people, and the people all look at the device. You are yanked suddenly back to reality, and the once catatonic boy in the cell is looking directly at you, appraising, calculating. There is no mistake now that it is the soul of a man who caused your awakening, that gazes out from that borrowed husk. A watcher. You made me into a watcher. I need you to undo it. Is that so? He makes no effort to hide his disinterest, but he continues to search your eyes. He makes a slight grunting noise, and his eyes soften for an instant, and it seems for that moment that he recognizes you. He opens his mouth to speak, then seems to think better of what he was about to say. His jaw tightens. I know your look, your hunger. Hunger for answers that elude you. It gnaws at your soul. It usurps your reason for being. You are like everyone. I will help you let go. He dodges backward with startling grace, putting himself out of reach. On his face there is no malice, only the dispassion of a farmer putting down a sick animal. Then suddenly he slumps forward. Well, shit. Oh. Oh, double shit. Well, this will be a problem for next time, as we are out of time. We will solve this next time. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and if you really like our content, check out the Patreon, which is linked down below, where you can watch our content before it's released publicly on YouTube. Also, be sure to check out our Discord, which is also linked down below, so you become... Oh, we can't save, actually, so we're going to do this now. Never mind. My bad. I forgot that this game doesn't let you save in combat. I've been getting spoiled by Divinity letting me do that.
Mow it.
Okay. Think we're good. Alright, now we can wrap up. Once again, thank you all for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and if you really like our content, check out the Patreon, which is linked down below, where you can watch our content before it's released publicly on YouTube. Also, be sure to check out our Discord, also linked down below, so you become part of our community, and I will see you all next time. Have a good one. Bye.